Ever catch yourself, just daydreaming about ditching the daily grind, a 9 to 5, and finally having that screw it, I'm buying a private island kind of money?
Haha, who hasn't, right?
It's a nice thought. And that's where Rich Dad, Poor Dad comes in, right?
Mhm.
This book, it's been a bestseller for decades now, and for good reason. It really gets you thinking differently about money and how to reach that freedom.
It does, and it's amazing how relevant it still is. I mean, it was written back in 97, but that core message, right, that it's not about how much you earn, but what you actually do with your money. That's huge.
Yeah, it really challenges that whole,
Yeah.
work hard, climb the ladder mentality.
Exactly. And there's a real danger in just chasing a bigger paycheck. It's like imagine pouring water into a bucket, but the bucket has holes. Doesn't matter how much you pour if it's just leaking out, right?
Leaky bucket syndrome. Yeah, I remember that from the book.
It's a powerful way to think about it, yeah. Kiyosaki's point is we need to shift our focus from just income to building assets.
Because he says, the rich buy assets, the poor only have expenses, the middle class buy liabilities they think are assets, right?
Exactly. And that's where things get interesting.
Well, because that line, it's practically a mantra now. But what does it actually mean for, like, the average person, someone just starting out?
It comes down to understanding the difference between things that put money in your pocket, assets, and things that take money out. Those are liabilities. And Kiyosaki argues that we often mistake our houses, our cars, even our education sometimes as assets when they're actually liabilities disguised as, well, status symbols.
He really goes after that whole a house is an investment idea, huh?
Yeah, and I think it makes people a little uncomfortable. It's a deeply ingrained belief, right? But Kiyosaki's point is that while a house can gain value, there are also constant expenses. Mortgage, taxes, repairs.
And those are all taking money out of your pocket every month.
Precisely, making it a liability, at least in the short term.
So then how does he define an actual asset? What are some examples from the book?
An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. So that could be, say, a rental property or a business you own, stocks that pay dividends, even intellectual property. Like if you write a book that generates royalties.
It's about multiple streams of income, right?
Yeah,
Making your money work for you.
exactly. It's not just trading time for money, it's building systems that generate income passively, even while you sleep. And that's where passive income becomes really key.
And this whole idea of making your money work for you, it's really at the heart of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the way Kiyosaki illustrates it, with those two father figures, his own dad and then his friend's dad, the rich dad, it's brilliant.
It's such a powerful way to show how important financial education is. He's saying it's not just about traditional education, it's about understanding money.
And he drives that point home really early on with that story about working for his rich dad as a kid.
Right. It shows that even at a young age, you can start learning those lessons about financial literacy. Like, are you working for a paycheck or are you figuring out how to build something bigger?
It's about shifting your mindset, right?
Yeah,
From just being a consumer to being a creator.
absolutely. And Kiyosaki, he doesn't stop there. He actually gives you these specific secrets to start building wealth.
And one of the biggest ones, one that really stands out, is that line, the rich don't work for money.
Exactly. They make their money work for them. They build businesses, invest in assets that generate passive income.
So it's like, instead of climbing the corporate ladder, you plant a money tree.
That's a great way to put it. And another key point Kiyosaki makes is about corporations and understanding taxes.
That's the part that always seemed, I don't know, kind of intimidating. Like, is this just for, really rich people?
That's a common misconception. But Kiyosaki stresses that these tools are available to anyone, and it's all about using them legally and ethically.
So break it down for us. What's the simplified version?
Well, one strategy he highlights is using corporations to separate your personal income from your business income. And this can have advantages, for taxes and even liability protection.
So it's about being strategic, not just working hard.
Exactly. It's about working smarter. And then another secret, maybe one of the most important, is about financial literacy.
Okay, so more than just like balancing your checkbook, right?
Right. It's about becoming fluent in the language of money, learning to read financial statements, understand cash flow, really evaluate investments.
He uses that great analogy
That's-
about McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. He explains how McDonald's isn't just in the burger business, they're in the real estate business.
Because they own all that prime real estate, right?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. So we've got all these rich dad secrets, right? Like assets, liabilities, making your money work for you. But how do we actually use this stuff?
Well, that's where Rich Dad Poor Dad goes from inspiring to actually empowering.
Yeah.
It gives you a roadmap. And the first step is tackling that financial literacy.
So more than just like balancing your checkbook.
Way more. It's like
Uh,
becoming fluent in the language of money. Learned to really read those financial statements. Understand where your cash is going.
Kiyosaki also talks about the mental game, right? Overcoming fear and cynicism.
Huge. Fear keeps us stuck. Cynicism, well, that can make you miss opportunities, dismiss ideas before you even try.
It's like if you think you can't, you probably won't.
Exactly. Kiyosaki wants us to really look at our beliefs about money. Are we holding ourselves back?
And that ties into the whole Briar Patch thing, doesn't it?
Right. Remember the story? Brer Rabbit, he used his fear of the briar patch to his advantage. We all have those fears, those things holding us back. But what if, instead of avoiding them, we used them?
Like our biggest fear is the key to the good stuff.
Exactly. It's about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because
Yeah.
that's where real change happens. Financially, personally, all of it.
So for someone listening right now who's ready to make a change, what's the one thing they should take away?
Financial freedom. It's possible, but it's a journey. Educate yourself. Challenge those limiting beliefs you have. Never stop learning. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not a magic trick. It's a push to take action.
Love it. That's a perfect way to put it. This deep dive, it's given us a lot to think about. Kiyosaki's lessons, those secrets to building wealth, and most importantly, how we can start applying those ideas today. Remember, financial freedom isn't just about the money, it's about having choices. So start investing in yourself, in learning, and see what happens. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Until next time, keep learning and keep reaching for that financial freedom.